Chairman Indian Oil, Mr. S.M. Vaidya, Director R&D, Dr. S.S.V. Ramakumar, Director HR, Mr. Ranjan Kumar Mahapatra, Director Finance, Mr. Sandeep Kumar Gupta, Senior Indian Oil officials, IOCNs joining us through the web, and our special guest for the day, Sister B.K. Shivani. Good afternoon and welcome to the 11th edition of Vyakhyan Lead Talk series, an experiential learning initiative pioneered by Indian Oil.
From Tata Group, we had Arundhati Bhattacharya, former chairperson from State Bank of India. The last one was, of course, the man who is very much in news, Dr. Randeep Guleria, who is director of AIIMS. And we have now you to speak on this subject, which is so close to everybody, each one's heart, and everybody would like to really work on it to an extent. I think what we see from common experiences, which if I can say that among high-performing, happy teams, always there is a happy leader. And this leader is not only at apex level, the leader is at every level. So it involves a lot of engagement. It involves a lot, not only with the team, but with the business, with all the associates. And how do we really go about it? So I call myself the Chief People's Officer here. So as that, I always look at this employee well-being, which is an aspect which needs to be taken care of so that employees are in place or are in a position to deliver their own best. So I will not take much. I know I'm sure that today's session is going to be paradigm shifting, and I'm very happy that you had earlier also in 2016, you had spoken to our people when we started this term of well-being and happiness experience in Indian Oil. So having you who has been bestowed with Nari Shakti Awardee, Nari Shakti Award, it's a great feeling for each one of us who are attending. One thing which, ma'am, I must tell you that which came as a surprise to me, that you are an electronics engineer. I had not gone through your bio data earlier. So that's something which has been very important to learn in the last 2 days when I got through your bio data. So welcome once again. I heartily welcome on behalf of currently almost 724 participants have already logged in, apart from our entire board members who are there. So welcome to this Lead Talk series. This is the 11th one. Welcome once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And as you mentioned, the status of a leader is seen to be so influential in the success of an organization that a charismatic leader is said to be able to reflect the credibility and the prestigious reputation of an organization. This means that the aspect of leadership has a direct impact on the organizational performance through the role of employees in the organization. On this note, I would request our leader, Chairman Indian Oil, Mr. Shrikant Madhav Vaidya, who has always stressed upon a happier workplace, to address the participants who have joined us from across the nation.
Chief guest for the 11th edition of the Vyakhyan Lead Talks, Sister B.K. Shivani, inspirational thought leader from Brahma Kumaris, my fellow directors and IOCNs who have joined us virtually from all over the country, a very good afternoon to you all. First and foremost, I am pleasantly surprised and happy that you're from Pune, madam. I also belong to Pune, so there's a common thread between us. Today's businesses are treating well-being as a tangible skill, a critical business input, and a measurable outcome. Forward-thinking companies are embracing well-being as an index of learnable actions and daily behavior. And there is a consensus that by talking about well-being and backing it with action, leaders can make their teams more productive. The focus on well-being has intensified over the last year as we have been grappling with this never-seen-before pandemic. Let me not go into the usual dissection of COVID-19's impact on our lives. However, I will quote a report from a leading global consultant which showed that 62% of the employees globally consider mental health issues a top challenge during the COVID-19 crisis. It is now quite well-acknowledged reality that to truly build a more resilient workforce and to rebuild the economy in 2021 and beyond, companies should prioritize well-being which is the state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy. I can proudly say that Indian Oil has been one of those few companies that identified employee mental health and happiness as a key priority while ensuring business continuity. There is another crucial aspect of employee well-being that is not adequately explored. Well-being is a skill that we can all learn and model. Like any skill, well-being must be practiced every day. Well-being and workplace happiness should be treated as a business critical skill and can be improved through developmental programs. At Indian Oil, we have always strived to enable and empower the IOCians to chart their own paths of happiness, because as they say, happiness is a journey and not a destination. This is a very special edition of Vakyan Lead Talks, should be a transformational experience for IOCians. Each of us yearns for happiness, yet a discussion around happiness seemed abstract for simple office goers like us. This is where the insights of one of the finest spiritual thinkers of our time and Nari Shakti awardee, Sister Shivani, is critical for professionals like us. As the energy of India, we believe in one elementary tenet. The happiness of our employees is the critical fuel that powers our company's progress. And that belief is manifested through engaging and enriching platforms like these. One essential purpose of Vakyan Lead Talks is to expose the IOCians to cross-industry vitality. Speaking of vitality, today's session is for our soul's vitality, and I am confident that Sister Shivani's words will help us reconcile our ambitions with our aspirations. I once again profusely welcome Sister Shivani to this virtual platform with these words, and I thank her again profusely for her gracious presence today. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for once again laying emphasis on well-being and happiness at workplace. Ladies and gentlemen, for the 11th edition of Vakyan Lead Talk series, we are indeed waiting to experience the impact of well-being and happiness in our daily lives. Without any further delay, I would request Sister Shivani to kindly proceed with our session. The audience is requested to post their questions in the chat box. We shall take up these questions with Sister Shivani after the session. Over to you, Sister Shivani. Ma'am, you can begin with your session.
Om Shanti and good afternoon. And thank you so much for all your blessings and pure wishes. We all have had different experiences in the last year. The last year has given us a lot of learning, and that learning can become our foundation for creating our lifestyle, which is going to take us towards well-being and happiness. It's been almost exactly 1 year. 24th March was when the lockdown was announced. By the end of April, so we're just talking about 1 month, by the end of April, the Indian Psychiatric Association gave us a figure of 30% rise in depression cases in the country. We're talking of only 1 month. And that 1 month was a month where we were all safe and secure. We were within our houses, that COVID could not enter inside the house. And yet there was a 30% rise in depression symptoms in the country. This 30% is the recorded. Those who have gone and seen a consultant, taken help, and that's why it's a recorded figure of 30%. We know that the figure is much higher because many of us didn't even realize we were going through a symptom or we did not seek help. There was also a rise in conflicts in relationships. There was a rise in domestic violence in the last 1 year during lockdown. There was also a rise in abuse at home. There was a steep rise in the number of phone calls for help from relationships. So now this is the time to introspect. Where's the connection between all these things? COVID is a physical health issue. It's an epidemic. We were safe, we were secure. Even if we had to go out, we knew how to protect ourselves. When we knew everything, what was the reason for mental health issues? What was the reason for relationship conflict issues? Only one reason, the mind did not have the power to remain calm and stable through a situation which the mind did not find a favorable situation. It was not a situation which was our way. And because the situation was not our way, we thought that stress and anxiety is normal. Right from day one, whether it was government, whether it was healthcare professionals, whether it was the administrators, media, gave us one line: take care, don't panic. Dhyan rakho, daro mat. We learned the first part, take care. So we knew what we had to do to take care. The second part, don't panic. We just didn't even think about it. We said, what do you mean don't panic? Fear and anxiety is normal. So the normal energy was fear and anxiety is normal. Fear and anxiety is normal all over the planet. If you just visualize what must have happened to the global vibration in this 1 year. We are saying it's the first time that the world was faced with the same situation. Yes, but it's also probably the first time the world was faced by the same emotion at the same time. Everyone was going through the similar emotion together. So the air was polluted. It was radiating with fear and anxiety. And so that started influencing many of us. And that's why that steep rise in mental health issues. Now, if we look at ourselves, we'll say physically, I'm fine. Most probably mental health issue, I have none. So I have no issue whether mental health or physical health. There's one more health which needs to be checked, and that health is emotional health. We need to check our emotional health index today, because if our emotional health is strong, we will never ever go towards a mental health issue. We will never. Yesterday, I was talking to a group of school children. It's fine if we are talking about mental health issues, we will know what to do about it. But what is the level of success of society if our school going children are talking about depression and mental health issues? Where are we heading? What is it, the parameter of society, if school children are taking anti-anxiety medicines before a board exam? Are they really equipped to face the challenges of their life if they are having to take a medication just before a board exam? Because that board exam is their crisis of life. So it's our moral responsibility. Moral responsibility. It's nice that Indian Oil is taking it up as a corporate responsibility, but actually it's an individual moral responsibility. Because an organization can make changes in the work culture which are conducive for us. They can make the work culture more comfortable for us. But even then, the mind cannot be happy, cannot be calm and stable if I, as an individual, am not taking certain measures to take care of my emotional health. So it's finally, at the end of the day, it is an individual responsibility. Few years back, we were not talking about organizations taking care of the happiness and well-being of people. We were supposed to be happy and then come to work, not the organization takes care of our happiness and health. We were supposed to take care of our happiness and health and come and contribute with that to the organization. And we will have to go back to that. We will have to go back to that. But what happened in the last few decades, we said we were too busy. So busy was our first epidemic, actually. We said we're too busy. When we used to tell people, why don't you meditate daily for a few minutes? तो क्या बात करते हैं आप? मरने की भी फुर्सत नहीं है, आप कहते हैं कि meditation करो. So we gave a new target. We said हमारे पास मरने की भी फुर्सत नहीं है. हमारे पास मरने की भी फुर्सत नहीं है. When we talk like this, we are not putting our health and happiness on a priority. And then this became an epidemic. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. And you suddenly had little children saying, I'm too busy. I have no time, without realizing what this word was doing to our energy levels. Being occupied, working is one thing, and busy is another thing. There are people who are retired, they are not working, but there's no more busier than them, because busy is not about what we are doing. Busy is about how we are feeling inside, very cluttered, very chaotic. Life just doesn't seem to be sorted, so we feel we're always short of time. So because we thought we are very busy, we did not prioritize taking care of our health. We did not prioritize. And if we did take out time for health, it was only for the body. It was not for the mind, because we said, what is there to do for taking care of the mind? We've never done that before. So let's see simple steps which we can take to take care of the mind, and that is emotional health. When we say stress is normal, let's look at the equation of stress. If I go back to my school life, in school, when I was in school, I don't know, 30, 35 years back, we never said stress. We never used the word stress as an emotion. Stress was only in physics. Stress was not, I am stressed, you are stressed, we are stressed. There was no word. Today, children are saying, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. Where are we heading? So, stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Pressure divided by resilience. Pressures are there in life and most probably will always be there. Because pressure is, you can call a goal a pressure, a target a pressure, a child can call an exam a pressure, I can call the traffic on the road my pressure in the morning while I'm traveling. They are pressures. But stress is not equal to pressure. What we did is we conveniently ignored the denominator and we said, this is my pressure and so I'm very stressed. Stress is not equal to pressure. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. COVID was a pressure, but because we ignored the denominator, we said COVID, so fear and anxiety is normal. Now let's focus on the denominator. Denominator is inner resilience, my power to be able to face the pressure. Two people, same situation, same pressure, stress levels are different. One can be extremely stressed, one can be okay, and one could be absolutely relaxed. The numerator is the same for both. Then why is the stress level different? Because the denominator is different for both. Same parent, same school, same exam, two children, different levels of stress. One is very easy, happy, one is taking medication before an exam. Why? Because both of them have two different denominators. So let's stop complaining about the numerator. The numerator is not in our control. The numerator is a part of life. It's a part of life. The denominator is completely in our control. That's our inner strength. But if I keep complaining about the denominator, about the numerator, my denominator actually starts dipping down because I just keep complaining and rejecting situations. So my denominator starts coming down. In 2019, if I met anybody in the business and industry and said, what's your cause of stress? They would say work-life balance. Work-life balance ही नहीं है. I said, क्या हुआ work-life balance? टाइम ही नहीं मिलता, घर पे टाइम ही नहीं मिलता, फैमिली के साथ टाइम ही नहीं मिलता. चलो लॉकडाउन आया, टाइम ही नहीं था. देन हम घर पे नहीं बैठ सकते सारा दिन सबके साथ. सो वो भी स्ट्रेस था जब घर पे नहीं बैठ सक रहे थे. घर पे बैठ गए तो उसको भी स्ट्रेस बोल दिया. सो यू सी इट्स नॉट अबाउट द सिचुएशन. It's not about the situation. It's about the ability of my mind to be able to respond right to the situation. We want to create an Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant country. For that, we will need to first have Atmanirbhar individuals, self-reliant individual, which means emotional independence. Emotional independence is the denominator, inner resilience. What is emotional independence? We have started blaming situations and people for how we think and feel. So if I just check my inner conversation, my vocabulary, it will say, I'm angry because of. We have someone to point the finger at. I'm stressed because of. I'm upset because of. I'm happy because of. I'm worried because of. Which means whatever is happening here is because of something or someone outside. This is emotional dependence. And this is not the truth. This is not the truth. People and situations are outside. But I am the creator of my every thought and feeling. And I need to shift from living like a victim and saying I'm feeling like this because of. I need to shift to be aware that I am the creator of my every thought. People cannot enter into my mind and create my thoughts. They can only be there and behave their way. How to think, what to speak, how to behave is completely my choice. I am the creator of my energy. So we need to shift from believing that we are emotionally dependent to start living a life of emotional dependence. They did this, he or she said this, target is this. Yes, I am the creator of my thought. And now I will create the right thought in that situation. I will not say, uski wajah se I am stressed. That is not the truth. And that is the learning from last year. That is the learning from last year. I cannot live my life like a victim. COVID was a global situation. Now we have the vaccine. In a couple of months, COVID might be a forgotten thing in our life, but that does not mean situations are not going to come in our life. But I need to become emotionally independent. So the first equation we are going to practice from today, not blaming any person and situation for how we are feeling, because that's not the truth. That's not the truth. We just blame it and then we allow ourselves to be in a lower vibration state and say it's because of them. So who needs to change? They need to change. What do I need to do? Nothing. The world needs to be perfect. So then I will be happy. And it's not just at work. My spouse needs to change. My children need to change. The government needs to change. The traffic needs to change. Everybody else needs to change. I only respond to the situations. I have to do nothing. I need to shift from this. I am the creator of my response. And so from today, no blaming. No blaming. Even if you react, never mind. Even if you get angry, never mind. But just don't say it's because of them. Because when we say it's because of them, we've given the power away. It's like the other person has the remote control to our mind. Just say, I created this anger and I'm going to change. I'm going to respond a different way. Not say they are like this, obviously I'll get irritated. We actually call people irritating. We're saying they're such irritating people. People are not irritating. People are who they are. We are creating the irritation in response to their behavior. So I am creating the irritation, not people are irritating. There is a complete difference in these two lines. So this is shifting from emotional dependence to emotional independence. I am the creator of my response. Second, what should be the quality of the thought that I should create? There are two vibrations. One is emotional illness, one is emotional health. And we are very clear which one is emotional illness, which one is health. Stress, anxiety, anger, fear, complaining, criticizing, competing, rejection, hurt, expectations. This is here. Low vibrational energy, emotional illness. The mind is not calm, the mind is not healthy. The body starts showing symptoms. Heartbeat increases, pulse increases, hands start sweating, mouth starts getting dry. I get acidity, my stomach starts feeling uneasy. Children get fever before an exam, which means the uncomfortable emotion in the mind has also created an uncomfortable effect on the body. So they were not normal emotions. As a society, we called them normal. Second thing to change today, don't call anything which is uncomfortable as normal. Never call it normal, because if we call it normal, we will allow ourselves to live with that emotion. We will allow people around us to create that emotion. And we'll say, कोई बात नहीं, ये तो normal है. डर लगना तो normal है. चिंता होना तो normal है. बीमारी normal नहीं होती कभी. If we call it normal, we don't heal ourselves. We say this is normal. If a child has an exam tomorrow, people around them say, तुमको tension नहीं हो रही है? The child says, नहीं, tension नहीं हो रही है. So the adults will say, तुम normal नहीं हो? तुमको tension नहीं हो रही है? They're teaching the child that it's normal to get stressed before an exam. Then the day the child is before the board exam, they're telling him, don't get stressed, don't get stressed. Now, if you get stressed, you won't perform right. इतने साल पहले उसको सिखाया, get stressed, get scared, and now they're getting saying, don't get stressed. So we have to be very clear what is normal. What is normal? Never call an uncomfortable emotion as normal. It is an emotional illness. This is an emotional illness. It's a low vibrational energy. So then what is normal? Gratitude is normal. Complaining is an illness. Calm and patience is normal. Stress is an illness. Understanding and empathy is normal. Anger and irritation is an illness. Easy and relaxed is normal. Busy is an illness. Competition is an illness. Cooperation, sharing and caring is normal. This is healthy. So let's now remember two equations. One, I am the creator of my thoughts and feelings. And second, I'm very clear which are the normal ones to create. Which are the normal ones to create? Jealousy is not normal. It's an illness. Being happy for other people doing well is normal. Blessing them and giving them good wishes is normal, because that is what raises our happiness index. If I am going to create all these uncomfortable emotions, I cannot be happy always. I can be happy once in a while, but I cannot be happy always. And that's why in school they used to ask us, write an essay, which was the happiest day of your life? And we had to think of when something good happened outside for us to be happy. Nothing good needs to happen outside for us to be happy. We can be calm here even if there is a crisis outside. And people can be chaotic here even if the world around them is perfect. The inner world and the outer world are two different worlds. They are two different worlds. The outer world does not create the inner world. The inner world influences the outer world. It is sankalp se srishti. Sankalp se srishti, which means thoughts create our world. It is not srishti se sankalp. World does not create our thoughts. Our thoughts create our world. Once we hold this equation right, it becomes very, very simple to start building that denominator of inner resilience and shifting towards well-being being a normal way of living, not something that we have to do, a normal way of living. So today, one, never call anything uncomfortable as normal, because then we started calling diabetes as normal. We said ये तो normal है, बहुतों को होता है, normal है. Never call anything uncomfortable normal. आपका divorce हुआ, कोई बात नहीं, आजकल normal है. 20 years पहले people would not tell each other because it was a stigma. Today we are saying ये normal है. Nothing is normal out of this. So never call anything uncomfortable as normal. Second, remember, never blame people and situations for your emotions. Atmanirbhar. We are the creator of our thoughts, feelings, word, and behavior. Now, if someone is not behaving the right way with me, if I think right for them, I understand them, and then I speak the right way and I behave the right way, my ego is going to say to me, if they are not behaving right with me, why do I need to be so right and nice to them? Because my being right and nice to them is building up my denominator. It's my emotional stamina which has to build up. It's my emotional fitness which needs to be built up. It's my emotional immunity that needs to be built up. There can be infection outside. I have to build up the emotional immunity. I have to build up. So today, select 2, 3 people around you. They could be at work, they could be at home, they could be in your neighborhood, they could be in your friend circle. Anyone you think doesn't behave the right way with you. But now just focus on how you think about them, how you speak to them, and how you behave with them. Don't wait for them to change. They may not be emotionally fit right now, but you are emotionally healthy. You are. Don't consume their emotional infection. COVID has taught us one thing: always wear your mask, always stand away, and always keep washing your hands. Now let's do these 3 things on an emotional level. Wear your mask, which means always remember that I am the creator of my feeling. Their behavior cannot do anything to me. It will protect us from consuming their infection. Second, stand away. Stand away doesn't mean that we move away physically, but stand away means even if they are at a lower vibration, you be at a higher vibration. Stand away from their vibration. Don't consume their energy. If someone is insecure, someone is jealous, they're not talking nicely about you, stand away, which means understand that they are going through this. But I am fine. I can radiate blessings to them. I can talk very nicely about them to everybody. I can appreciate them to all my colleagues. Vibration wise, I stand away. And keep washing your mind. Washing your mind means even if you create some discomfort, take a 30-second pause. Don't allow your mind to continue with those disturbing conversations inside. Take a 30-second pause. Detach from your thoughts. Look at your thought. Why am I thinking like this about them? But they did this. They did this. But why am I thinking like that? And write down what is the right thought I should create for them, and change your thought. You've just washed off the infection. So even if you got an infection, you just did this for 20 seconds and you washed it off. But if you did not do that for 20 seconds, you will carry that infection with you. And it will not just remain with you, it will go home with you in the evening. This is very important. It's going to go home with us in the evening. How much ever our organization takes care of our well-being, they can never create a perfect world for you. Because perfect world for us is that everybody should be my way. No organization can create that for us. You cannot create that for your children tomorrow. You cannot even create that for yourself. You cannot create a perfect world outside, but you have the power to create a perfect world inside. Inside. So keep washing your mind, which means don't allow your mind to think ill, think wrong. Think wrong means वो ऐसे हैं, ये ऐसे हैं, इसने ऐसा क्यों किया, उसने. This is all negative thinking. It consumes the emotional infection of the other person. Just take a pause of 10 seconds, change your thought. It's okay. I understand. This is their nature. This is their way of working. I will give the advice. I can take disciplinary action also if I'm in that position, but I'm not going to think negative about anybody because that lowers my denominator. My inner thinking ill about a lot of situations and people. Now, how do I start building up this emotional immunity system with simple lifestyle habits? Early morning. The first hour of the morning is very, very crucial in building up emotional immunity system. Since the time we have technology, our eyes open and the first thing that we look at is our phone. It's the last thing that we look at just before going to sleep. It's the first thing that we look at when we open our eyes. This one habit we need to change. De-addiction of this is very, very important to build up our emotional wellness. When we wake up, our mind is clean. It's like a blotting paper. Absorption power is highest. Whatever we put on it at that time, it's going to get deep absorbed in the subconscious. So be very, very, very careful of what you put onto your mind in the first hour of the morning. Very, very, very crucial. Very crucial. But when we look at our phone as the first thing in the morning, then most of us, we go through the work emails, we check the world news, we check our social media handles if we are on that, and we check our messages. And within 5-10 minutes, we don't need to spend 1 hour with the phone, but just within that 5-10 minutes of scrolling the different platforms on our phone, we have consumed the world onto our mind. Work is important, but work is a part of life. Work is not life. That is what we need to remember. We were working even when there were no phones. We were working when there were no mobiles. Even then we were working. But just now, because we have mobile, we start going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't think Indian Oil expects us to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning when we wake up. But we choose to go to work by going through our emails and messages first thing in the morning when we wake up. It's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for us. At least for an hour. The first hour of the morning is for energizing this. It's for building up that denominator, the inner resilience. At least for 1 hour, do not consume anything from the world, which means no world news, which also means no newspaper. No newspaper. Many of us are reading newspaper in bed. So you see our energy, one hand phone, the other hand newspaper, TV there, and a cup of tea. This is how our morning begins. And if this is how our morning begins, then well-being will become very difficult during the day because we are flooding ourselves with the negativity that's there around us. If I consume the world first thing in the morning, then I will respond like that to the world during the day. Emotional health, we need good emotional diet. An emotional diet is what we watch, what we read, what we listen. Please write this on your desk on the nice chart paper, and please write this at home so that your children can also read it. What we watch, what we read, what we listen is who we become. It is our emotional diet. Why our children are getting affected? Why our children are having low emotional immunity system, why they react, why they get angry, irritated, why they get so stressed before an exam. Their pressures have reduced. Syllabus is much easier today than what it was 20 years back, but denominator is even lesser. Why? Because they are consuming a lot of content. They're consuming a lot of content from the world. So if we go back to the era when we were in school, we had no content to consume from the world. Our world was only our family, our friends, our teachers, our very good books that we used to read in school, and one newspaper that used to come home. That was our world. Then came our first television. And what was the first television? One TV serial every day, one episode every week. It's like eating one samosa a week, one junk food. My body can easily manage one junk food a week. But then a few years later, for those who it was their business, and they said one episode a week is giving us so much success, we should make it a daily episode. So now suddenly we had daily episode serials. So instead of eating one samosa a week, we were now eating one samosa daily. It started taking a toll on the mind. Then came social media platforms, and we've all learned now. They were designed in a way to manipulate the mind, and we were allowing our mind to get manipulated. They were addictive, and we started getting addicted. Then came OTT platforms, the digital platforms, and now we can watch 10 episodes in a day. So imagine eating 10 samosas in a day. And then we tell the other person, you know what, I watched this complete series this Sunday. The other person, oh, I have missed it. Now I have to watch it next Sunday. This is what has started taking a toll on the emotional health of people. So please remember and write this equation, especially for your children. What we watch, read, listen is who we become. Is who we become. So please take care of what and how much we consume from the world. If lust, anger, jealousy, ego, corruption, crime, violence, fear is what I'm going to put inside me, then that's who I'm going to become. That's who I'm going to become. No one can stop me from that because that's my emotional diet. So the first hour of the morning, please don't consume any junk content. Now, work does not come into junk content. But what happens when we consume work communication first thing in the morning? The mind starts thinking about work. We have an entire day to think about it. The first hour of the morning is to energize myself so that I can think right about every issue at work. I don't need to spend the first hour thinking about the issue at work. So let's keep it for an hour later. First few thoughts of the morning should be of gratitude. Gratitude. Open your eyes, even before you open your eyes, it should start with gratitude. Gratitude for the higher power. Gratitude to your mind and body for being healthy. Gratitude to people you live and work with. And gratitude to your work. Very important to have gratitude to your work and workplace because it's from there that the money is coming home. Money is the first energy that comes into the house and it's coming from my workplace. We all know how many people today are struggling because they don't have work. How many families are going into pain because they don't have work. So don't find complaints with your workplace and work. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's your fortune that you have a workplace and you have work. So gratitude to your work and your workplace and your work colleagues every day in the morning. And then gratitude to environment, nature and all the resources we have. When we create first thought of gratitude in the morning, we have started creating harmony with everything in our life. With the supreme power, with my mind and body, with people, with work, and with resources, with our climate, with our environment, with our nature. Second thing, this takes just a few seconds. Second thing, we meditate. Meditation means consciously start healing the mind. So it's good to learn meditation. So for those of you who would like to learn meditation, we have meditation courses at the Brahma Kumari centers. You can walk into any center nearest to you and they will teach you the Raj Yoga meditation. For those who've not learned yet to do meditation, let's do something simple. We will just create a few positive thoughts. powerful, pure thoughts. We can call them an affirmation. Affirmation, why? Because what I think starts happening in my life. Our thoughts manifest. Sankalp se siddhi hoti hai. So I need to think carefully. So whatever you want should manifest in your life. First create it here. Everything that we see in the world today was first created here. So everything happens twice, once here and then out in the world. So let's create the right things in the mind first thing in the morning. The technique of writing an affirmation: create a thought as if it has already happened and it will start happening. Simple example: I am a happy being. Not I want happiness. Not I seek happiness. Not I am stressed. I am a happy being. I am happy always. Now, when I create this thought, it's not a reality right now. I'm not happy always. I'm happy sometimes. I'm stressed sometimes. That's my reality. But I'm not going to create a thought of what I see the reality. I'm going to create a thought what I want to see the reality. It is sankalp se siddhi. Thought will manifest. We kept saying I'm stressed, stress is normal, stress is natural, and it has manifested. More of it has started happening. I am a happy being. I am a powerful being. Powerful being means I'm emotionally independent. I'm above the vibration of people and situations which are not right around me. Third, I am a calm, peaceful being. I am, not I want to be. I am. Fourth, I am a fearless being. Nirbhay, Nidar. There's a lot of fear and anxiety in the air right now. We can't see it, but it impacts us. So create a thought: I am a fearless being. Fourth, my body is perfect and healthy and will always be. So we're radiating and manifesting health by creating it here. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. If there is any ailment in the body, put an affirmation for that. For example, suppose you have high blood pressure. Now, often in the day we find ourselves saying, "Mera BP high hai, meri tabiyat theek nahi hai." That vibration reaches the body. So create a thought: my blood pressure is normal. In fact, give a figure there. My blood pressure is 120/80. It may not be anywhere near 120/80, but you put a sankalp, the affirmation: my blood pressure is 120/80. When you are creating this thought, first, you are silencing your mind. Second, you are radiating that message to the body. It's going to manifest. It is going to manifest. So do that for any ailment. If you have diabetes, you put an affirmation: my sugar level is, and put the normal range there. Put it there. So one affirmation for the health. Second, affirmation for relationships. I accept people as they are. I understand them. My relationships are in harmony. Not should be in harmony. They are in harmony. I accept people. I understand them. My relationships are in harmony. Then create an affirmation for your workplace. For your work, whatever you want, whatever is your target, you create an affirmation: this is already achieved. So if you put an affirmation, this is already achieved, it's going to become very easy to reach there. Success is certain for me. Success is certain for me. And then you put an affirmation: God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. See a divine light energy circle protecting you. Very important, so that we don't get influenced by lower vibrational energy around us. So let's revise these affirmations. I am a powerful being. I am a happy being, always happy. I am peaceful being. I am a fearless being. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. Any illness, put that as an affirmation: this is normal. Then I accept people as they are, which means my mind is very calm in my relationships. I accept people as they are. My relationships are in harmony. Then I have achieved whatever is your target. If a team does this together, they create miracles. They create miracles. Success is certain for me. God's power and blessings is a divine circle of protection around me. Now, this is about 8 to 10 thoughts that we have chosen. You can put any affirmation that you like. Just the method has to be right, that whatever you want to see tomorrow as your reality, you create a thought, it already is. Because the spiritual law is sankalp se siddhi, thoughts manifest. And galti se bhi wrong thought nahi create karna, because that also starts manifesting if it's affirmed very often. ऐसा ही है, ये वैसा ही है, ये तो ऐसे ही है, मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ. You know, when we say these things very often, it starts manifesting in a negative manner because thoughts manifest. So, few seconds of gratitude, then few minutes of affirmation, and visualize that while you are creating the thought. Then, at least 15-20 minutes of consuming a healthy emotional diet. This should be mandatory for all of us. It is nourishment for the mind. Like we give a good diet to the body, we need to give a good diet for the mind. We are going to be exposed to a lot of toxic content during the day. At least 20 minutes of healthy content in the morning. So watch, read, or listen to something very pure, positive, powerful. Content which is full of compassion, gratitude, faith, miracles, content of cooperation, content of blessings, consume that. That's where spirituality comes in. So a spiritual session, a self-improvement book, anything you like, at least 20 minutes in the morning. So this is about half an hour to 45 minutes for ourselves. Then of course, at least half an hour for the body. So whether it's yoga, whether it's pranayam, whether it's exercise, whether it's walk. So we need to give at least an hour, hour and 15 minutes to ourselves every day. And please don't say, I don't have time to yourself again. Don't ever say that. Because now if we say that, then we've not learned our lesson from last year. Then we've not learned it. Initially, we will feel we don't have time. It's very natural because my lifestyle is going to suddenly change. But we're not going to say, I don't have time. We're going to say, I am going to do this. And now I'm going to see how to fit the rest of the things during the day. Initially, we will be short of time. You know why we are so short of time? Because we are doing a lot of work without energizing ourselves. When we start doing this for an hour every morning, within 2 months, maybe lesser than that, but within 2 months, you are going to have extra time. That is certain that you are going to have extra time. It's like if you want to cut the trees, you have to sharpen the axe. But if you say, I don't have time to sharpen the axe, then it will take very long to cut the trees. But we don't realize that, and we don't take out the time to sharpen the axe. So we have to take out the time to energize our mind and our body. So this 1 hour, 15 minutes in the morning for ourselves. The last hour before going to sleep is very important. A very important role of an organization, what we can do for the well-being of our people, is to have cut-off time from work. Maybe you as an organization are already doing that. Cut-off time from work in the sense, let's say I'm working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 12 hours are at work. From 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., I should not be contacted for work. I should not be called. I should not be sent an email. I should not be messaged. Or if I'm sent an email or message, I should not be expected to read it and reply it because I am not at work. So we need cut-off time from work. The human mind cannot just go on being at work. It's because we have the phone in our hand that even when we are sitting with family, we're checking our emails, we are replying to work phone calls, we are answering messages. We are sitting with them, but in our mind, though, we are at work. So obviously our relationships are getting affected. Obviously our children are not getting the right vibrations and energy from us. So we need to have cut off. Not expected to answer anything unless there is a crisis. And crisis happens very rarely. Crisis not happening every day. So cut off time from work will change people's lifestyle completely. Here, we don't have cutoff time daily. We don't have cutoff times on weekend. We don't have cutoff times on festivals. It was these cutoff times that we had when we did not have phones. That's the only difference. When we did not have phone, we automatically were disconnected from work. Nobody could call us up. That is the one culture we need to go back to. No continuously being at work till 10 o'clock till we go to sleep. That is not healthy for the mind because we don't sleep right. So at least 2 hours before we sleep, we need to disconnect from work because our mind needs to get settled now, process everything that happened during the day, and now start slowing down before we go to sleep. Many of us are sleep deprived. We don't sleep very well. We sleep enough, but we don't sleep very well. Simple sign. Look on the flight, in the train, in the bus. People around you can fall off to sleep any time of the day. People are sleeping in the car early morning while going to work. You ever imagine you wake up, get ready, and then you're sleeping in the car while going to work? Isn't that a simple sign that I haven't slept right? How can we fall off to sleep at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning? On the flight, people can go off to sleep any time of the day. Any time of the day. This is a sign that we are sleep deprived, even though we are sleeping enough. Why are we sleep deprived? Because before we go to sleep, we're either watching the news, either we are seeing our communications of work, or we are with media. And that means we stimulate our mind. It is overactive, and then we fall off to sleep. Only the body sleeps that way. The mind doesn't get energized. The mind doesn't get energized. We sleep late also because of that. If we want to really be happy and healthy, we should sleep latest by 10. Latest, that is, by 10. Because if we sleep at 10, we will automatically wake up by 4 or 5. It will be a natural waking up. There was an era where people never used alarm clocks or mobile alarms. They would naturally wake up, natural go to sleep, natural wake up. All that natural thing is disappearing. All this natural. Now we need substance and medicine to go to sleep. We need an alarm to wake up. See how unnatural we are becoming because we're moving away from the cycles, from the normal cycles of nature. So the right time to go to sleep is 10. 10 to 2 is the highest energizing time for the mind and body. So every hour that I'm late, I'm losing out on my time. So if I sleep at 11 instead of 10, I lost 1 hour. If I sleep at 12, I lost 2 hours. Very big reason why children are emotionally affected. They don't sleep right. They believe they should stay up in the night and study. And we think that's healthy. That's not. So sleep early, wake up early, sleep early, but sleep right, which means 8 o'clock disconnect, early dinner, light dinner, not that we eat at 9:30 and go to sleep at 10. It won't work. So light dinner, early dinner, 2 hours of gap, 10 o'clock go to sleep, 10 minutes before going to sleep, again consume a healthy diet for the mind. And last thoughts on the mind, those morning affirmations. Those should be the last thoughts on the night just before going to sleep, because then those affirmations will get processed for the next 6 hours and they will start becoming your reality. Then you wake up early and it's very easy to give yourself that 1 hour for yourself because you woke up early. During the day, we will just take care that what we studied in the morning, we're going to apply it during the day. Emotionally independent, not blaming anybody. Anger will not be a part of our life because anger is an energy depleter. Anger is an energy depleter. I think we discussed this last time also. The organization should have a no anger culture. No one allowed to use anger with anybody. Anger is a depleter in an organization. Anger is a human mind's depleter because the one who creates anger gets depleted. The one who is inflicted with anger gets depleted. They live in fear. They create humiliation. There's a lot of depletion that happens. Discipline, yes. Assertiveness, yes. Aggression and anger is an energy depleter. So whole way of working will change. We are not in a competition with each other. Life is about my journey, my capacity, and me performing better than my capacity by being in cooperation with everyone around me. Someone taught us life is a competition and we've just held on to it and we are using it. We can never be happy and relaxed if we are always in a race. Visualize yourself always in a race. How can you be happy and relaxed? The person sitting next to you is a competitor. The person is a threat. Imagine sitting 8 hours a day next to a person who's a threat to your success. This is not true. We are all on this journey together. And whoever has the right capacity, the right intention, and the right vibration will automatically move ahead. We don't need to create competition in our minds with the other person for that. Competition is a depleter. It is a depleter. So taking care of those little things during the day, the diet, what we eat also has an effect on the mind. We are what we eat. Jaisa ann, vaisa man. It means that food is not just vitamins, minerals, nutrients, but food is vibrations. Most of us have experimented with a vegetarian diet last year. Let's continue with that experiment. Vegetarian diet does have proteins, but that does not mean it is health. Now even doctors are telling us it's not healthy for the body. Doctors are telling us whether it's for diabetes, whether it's for cardiac issues, whether it is for certain cancers. A lot of doctors are saying, please switch to a vegetarian diet. For longevity, please switch to a vegetarian diet. So the only plea that we had was, oh, I'm eating non-veg because the doctor says it's healthy. That's gone. And it's definitely not healthy for the mind because of our vibrations. Animal in a slaughterhouse. If we in lockdown could go through so much anxiety when we were safe, animal in a slaughterhouse, what would be the emotion? They know that death is right there. What would be the emotion? So the emotion of that animal is pain, fear, anger, hatred. That is the emotion, that is the hormone in the body. Then the violence, and then death. And then it comes in our plate and we call it health. It's not health, it's proteins. Two things are different. That vibration is not healthy for the mind and the body. So please experiment with a sattvic diet. A sattvic diet. And while having your meals, no phone, no TV. No phone, no TV while having meals. Not healthy for the mind and the body. Make it a culture at home. No phone, no TV while eating. If you're at work and you're eating with colleagues, no talking about work while eating. Please remember, everything that you're talking is getting consumed by the food. And that will become your predominant thought. No talking about people gossiping while eating. Either eat in silence or have happy conversations. Never ever have any negative word while eating. And just before you begin your meal, 5 seconds pause, connect to the Supreme Power, repeat your affirmation. I'm a happy being, I'm a powerful being, I'm perfectly healthy body, success is. 5 seconds, repeat your affirmation. Your food will absorb your thoughts' vibration and they will start becoming a natural thought process. So be very, very careful. What is the energy that's going into your food? If you want your thoughts to manifest faster, then put it also into your every glass of water. Jaisa ann vaisa man, jaisa pani vaisi vani, which means water, the vibration of water influences our mind and our words and our vocabulary. Right now, the city is vibrating with fear and anxiety. It's also there in the water of the city. इसीलिए लोग कहते हैं आप कौन से शहर का पानी पीते हैं? That's who we become, depending on which city water we consume. So before you drink, just pause 5 seconds, say your affirmation, cleanse the energy of the water, and then drink. Please study online water memory. It's a whole science, how water absorbs vibration, and 80% of our body is water. So if we don't have the right vibration in it, it will affect our mind and body health both. So very important to have the right thoughts while eating and while drinking. Simple lifestyle changes, even a child can do this. They are so simple. And we have a lot of children who are doing it and they create magic with their lives. So morning hour, gratitude, affirmation, spiritual study, meditation, physical health, 1 hour. Before going to sleep, 2 hours cut off from work communication, 1 hour cut off from technology, news of the world, media, Be with yourself, be with family, enjoy the last 1 hour, listen to music, start slowing down your mind before you go to sleep. And 10 minutes before you sleep, again, good content, 10 minutes positive content, and again, the affirmation before you sleep. Every time you eat and drink, repeat your affirmation and experiment with the sattvic diet and practice emotional independence. Don't blame the world for how you are feeling. Take charge because it's completely our choice. Just these simple lifestyle habits, our denominator is going to start increasing. It's going to start increasing. And when that denominator builds up, let there be any pressure outside, your stress level is going to be dipping very fast and you'll finish stress, not increase. You can finish stress from your life if you are working on the denominator. So let's make well-being and happiness our moral responsibility and come to work as happy and healthy individuals, because a happy and healthy individual is the first leadership quality. Leadership matlab who is at a higher vibration to influence, empower, and transform people into the right direction. A child could be a leader at home. Anyone can be a leader. A leader only is here. It's an attitude. One is leader by role and position. The other is leader by attitude, leader by vibration. A leader who is calm and stable. A leader who understands people, does not react, accepts people. A leader who is at a higher vibration, influences and empowers people towards change. So wellness and happiness will automatically bring out those leadership qualities in us. And if any of you would like to learn meditation, wherever you stay, whichever part of the country, within 2 to 3 kilometers, you would have a Raj Yoga meditation center. And sisters are there at every center. We have 5 days, an hour every day to learn that meditation. Any day, any time, walk into the center and just fix your time. And there's never ever any cost attached to it. So all that it needs is 5 hours of our time. Just 5 hours, 5 days, 1 hour each. Learn the technique, experiment with it, start doing it at home. You will see results not just with yourself, but with your children, with your family, and of course, definitely at your workplace. It's bound to happen because Sankalp se Srishti banti hai. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Shivani. That was really a mesmerizing session. And as you mentioned, during our day-to-day course, we tend to definitely, all of us say that we are extremely busy and we don't find time to express gratitude, and how expressing gratitude in simple things like having water before our food, getting up in the morning, and expressing that gratitude will change our lifestyle. So really, we are really blessed to have you, so that you've shared your thoughts with us. Now that we have a few minutes, with your permission, I would like to take some questions. So the first question, okay, before that, I would request the chairman and directors if they have any questions for Sister Shivani.
I have no questions. I'm simply enlightened. So I would like the other team members or anybody to ask the question. I'm done, ma'am. I got all my answers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm overwhelmed. But still, I'll ask one question, sister. My question is that how does one remain calm in a very critical situation? I know in work life, we do face some certain critical situations. Normally, okay, I as a person try to remain calm, but there are some situations where you feel that you are really overshooting it. How do you remain calm?
Yeah. So it's like, how do you remain healthy when the weather changes? Or how do you remain healthy if somebody near you has COVID? Only by building your immunity system. But we can't build it that time. It is something that is built by our daily lifestyle. So yes, you remain very calm in most situations. If you integrate some of these things in your lifestyle, now you will remain calm even in those tougher situations. So yes, we are very, immunity is strong. Now we can always take it higher and higher. So it's our lifestyle. It's not something that we can do that time. It won't happen that time. It's our emotional stamina that we are gradually building by these simple lifestyle disciplines.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions, or we can just move on to the question?
Yeah, you can move on. Yeah, I think there are a lot of questions, I think, probably.
Okay, so the first question similar questions come from two individuals, KK Sharma and Ms. Ritika, who ask that we tend to remain distracted due to something or someone, or to say the outer world. And this brings in a lot of anxiety and stress to us. So how can we cope up with that?
As I said, it is just those basic lifestyle principles that we have discussed today, actually. It's like saying, when I climb up the steps, I get breathless. My legs start aching. This is all a sign that my physical stamina needs building up, right? So I just need to integrate a good diet and exercise. I will do it for 3 months. After 3 months, when I start climbing the same staircase, I will not get breathless. After another 3 months, I will run up that staircase. After another 3 months, I will be able to run up 5 floors. It's all about building our stamina. It happens very gently, very gradually, but it requires a daily discipline. It can't happen by once in a while things. It is a daily lifestyle. So spirituality, meditation, yoga, these are daily lifestyle principles. It's not something we do once in a while. But once you make it a part of your daily lifestyle, something will happen, people will say something, people will do something, and you will realize you did not create any thought for them. It will just happen. You will not do that time. So it's just about energizing ourselves on a daily basis. When I don't energize, okay, just let's look at this. This is my phone. Now this phone does almost everything for us nowadays, right? So it can book, it can shoot, we have songs, we have camera, we have communication, we have everything on the phone. But it can do all this only when it's charged every morning. And that same phone, if I don't charge it, it's like just a box. It can do nothing. So either it can do my almost everything, or either it can do nothing. Just depends on whether I charged it or no. Similarly, my mind. It's my mind which creates my mental health. It's my mind which influences my physical health. It's my mind which creates my relationships. It's my mind which creates my work success. It's my mind which influences environment. And I don't charge my mind. So then everything gets affected. Then depression is normal, diabetes is normal, divorce is normal, climate change, we know scientists are telling us, get ready, we don't know what's going to happen to the world. All this is normal because we're not charging the mind. You do this and everything will start falling into place. So it's just experiment with those lifestyle principles.
Thank you, ma'am. I think Amit sir has a question.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sister.
Good afternoon.
You have taken us from physics of stress to emotions of stress. And there are so many curious listeners. And one of the curious listeners, Mr. Manoj Sharma, he brings in the management of stress. He says that in management, it is said, because we are talking of leadership, that some amount of stress is essential to boost performance. So where do we strike a balance? You talked of numerator and denominator from the principles of physics. But where do we merge the physics, management, and the emotions? Ma'am.
I do not believe that some amount of stress is needed. I believe pressure is needed. Pressure is like an exam. I can say a child needs an exam to study. If they didn't have an exam, everybody would not study. But because they have an exam, everyone studies. Similarly, at work, I might need a target. Everybody might not be enthusiastic enough to work till they have a target before them. So that is the pressure. Stress is not what we get outside. The exam is not the stress, but what my mind thinks about the pressure. That is stress. And I do not think I need any wrong thought or any weak thought or any chaotic thought to be able to perform better, because I can never perform better if I create even single thought of doubt or fear or anxiety. So that is stress. Sometimes we mix stress and pressure, and that's why we feel some amount of stress is necessary. Stress is inside. Pressure is outside. So goal is necessary, target is necessary, exam is necessary, but inside, calm, stability is necessary. Even if I shift 2% from my calm and stability, it will have an effect. It will have an effect on my performance. Even if it doesn't have an effect on my performance, it has an effect on my well-being. So even if I achieve everything, but I'm not happy inside, then I can't really call myself successful. I can call myself an achiever. I can call myself an achiever, but I can't call myself successful. If my body parameters are not right, I cannot call myself successful. If people are not comfortable with me, I cannot call myself successful. And when we create stress, our aura becomes quite disturbing. We have a disturbed energy field. See a person when they are stressed, even their body language starts changing. Their vocabulary starts changing. They're carrying turbulent energy. And see a person who's calm and at ease. Which leadership quality would you be comfortable with? Which leadership quality? We know it all. We've all experienced it. So I personally believe that even if I create this little bit of stress, I just sit back first. First, silence here, then go back to handling the situation. Never get to handling a situation with even a slight disturbance in the mind. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. First heal the mind, then go and heal the situation.
Respected sister, thanks for the lovely session, sister. We have always been charged by your positive vibrations received from you, sister. As you know that happiness and well-being of the workforce, it is a key factor in any organization long-term effectiveness. And with this aim in mind, in 2016, sister, you had inaugurated the project Happiness and Well-being for Indian Oil Corporation employees, sister. We have taken this journey forward, and it is because of this only we have developed resilience amongst our employees and workforce. And it was all because of this, sister. We had not succumbed to the stress which is present globally due to COVID pandemic, sister. And we didn't succumbed by the pressure. Sister, we have all employees, they have taken this task, and employees' resilience, they have increased both external resilience by practicing the COVID appropriate behaviors, and internal resilience by all the learnings from you, sister. Now, there's a question in this regard from Mr. M.K. Dwivedi. Like, is there any method or any practical example to measure the well-being of our of an organization and further improve upon it in this aspect?
I would not know how to measure, because that will all depend on the format of working, within an organization. But the well-being of an organization can be measured only based on the well-being of the individuals, because what is an organization? An organization is all about people. Rest is only infrastructure. So infrastructure doesn't have the vibration. It's the people. How comfortable are we with the energy field of other people? One thing is physically, I may be talking very nicely to you. I may be behaving accurately with you. But the highest level of well-being is if I'm thinking right about everybody, then the energy is different. It's the vibration of the workplace which will change. Sometimes when we talk to, the team, a team who plays a match, whether it's a cricket or a football or a hockey. So sometimes they say, while playing, instead of the other team being our opponent, sometimes we start opposing each other in our minds by saying they didn't play right, he shouldn't have done this, she shouldn't have done that way. This critical and judgmental thinking about other people lowers the vibration of an organization. So yes, we're doing a lot to move higher, but then we always have margin to move even higher. So which means just start increasing our levels of acceptance for each other. That doesn't mean people can do whatever they want to do. We discipline, we create disciplinary action, but start working on critical and judgmental thinking about other people. Critical and judgmental thinking is very, very depleting for an individual and for the culture of an organization. And definitely never bring it in words. So if it's in the level of thoughts, let's finish it at the level of thoughts. Never bring it in our words. So along with an organization being a no anger zone, it also needs to be a no gossip zone. Gossip meaning never going and talking ill about anybody. Even like, wo hai aise, wo to karte ye hain, wo to kar hi nahi sakte hain. This is all not the right energy for an individual. So that's the next step that we can take in creating our well-being. And I don't know how it can be done, but let's shift from a culture of competition. Competition can never be well-being. Let's shift to a culture of cooperation. That is very important, because then everyone around me is family rather than everyone around me being a competitor. Not a threat to me, but a friend to me. that would be the highest level of well-being, where I'm very comfortable then with people around me, because 8-10 hours sitting thinking that this person is also a threat, this person is also a threat, that's not a very comfortable feeling for the mind and body. So if the culture can shift from competition to cooperation, that's then we've reached the highest level of well-being for the mind and the body.
Thank you, sister.
Well, moving on to the next question. Again, two people asking a similar sort of question, Mr. Himanshu Koriwal and Mr. Joshi. Like Sister Shivani, you said that it is not right to blame anyone for their behavior or their response. We as an organization, as a huge organization, deal with a lot of people every day. So there is criticism, there is a lot of complaints, criticism. So and not always it is we who are responsible for that. So how to deal with that situation when we know that the person in front is also not wrong and we are also not to be blamed. How do we manage that situation? And at times, being in such a large organization, we are around 33,000 workforce, we need to tell people that at some point they are wrong, or maybe they are not thinking in the right direction. So how do we positively criticize people, if at all we criticize?
No, let's change the word. How do we give a positive feedback to people? We'll not positively criticize them. When we said we don't blame people, we said we don't blame people for our emotions. So yes, somebody's done something which is not right. Someone's made a mistake. We have to correct them. We have to give the feedback. Sometimes we also have to take disciplinary action. So it's not that, okay, let people do whatever they want. That's not blaming. But me getting angry inside, me getting critical inside, me getting disturbed inside, that is when that person's behavior is affecting me. That I don't need to do. No, I have to work with 33,000 people. If everyone's behavior, or even if I have to work with 10 people, 10 people will work in different ways, behave in different ways, have different temperaments. I cannot consume their emotions. So I have to give the feedback like a counselor. A child sometimes prefers to talk to a counselor rather talking to their parents about their issue. Why? Because when a child talks to a parent, the parent also creates anxiety about the issue of the child. But a counselor doesn't create anxiety because they're very detached. They're very untouched by what the child has done, but yet they're going to give the child the right advice of how to create a change. So that's how we have to become untouched by the vibration, very calm and stable, but very, very assertive in our feedback and even in disciplinary action if that is needed. But not disturb here because we have to deal with so many people on a daily basis.
Well, absolutely. And I think that's going to go a long way, that suggestion. Maybe the last question for the day, and that comes from Mr. Prasanna Kumar. He says that as human beings, we tend to expect a lot from people. That's a human behavior of, expecting things from the surroundings. And when those expectations are not met, we tend to get hurt. Is it correct to be emotionally detached with our people? When I say our people, our family, our colleagues, our environment, our organization, should we be emotionally detached, or is there some other way out?
First of all, expectation is not the normal human emotion. Acceptance is the normal human emotion. So when this inner power denominator is increased, acceptance will become normal. When the inner power denominator is reduced, expectation will become normal. When the inner power reduces even more, we have expectations for anything and everything. And when they are not fulfilled, today people who are on social media, they have an expectation that everyone will like what they have posted. If somebody doesn't like what I have posted, also people get hurt. So when inner power reduces, expectations go like very, very high. Emotional detachment, we need to understand what it means. Emotional detachment means our well-being will be highest. Detachment does not mean withdrawn. Detachment does not mean being indifferent. Detachment means unconditional acceptance and love. How? Like when two children are born joined. When two children are joined when they are born. Life is not very comfortable. They have to sit together, stand together, eat together, sleep together because they are joined. Then they are operated and they are separate, which means they are detached. Now one can stand, the other can sit. Similarly, emotional attachment means my mind is dependent on another mind. So if the other mind is not my way, my mind will get affected because it is attached to the other mind. And detachment means the other mind can do something which is not right or can be in pain, can do something wrong. I will be stable because I'm emotionally detached. So emotional detachment is not that I move away. Emotional detachment is actually I become very close to people because I accept them as they are. When we build up our emotional immunity system, this will happen naturally. Nobody can do this on their own. Anybody thinks I become emotionally detached? They cannot. They become indifferent. They don't become emotionally detached. They दूर दूर रहते हैं. मुझे कुछ नहीं बोलना. फायदा क्या इनको बोलने का? सुनते तो है नहीं है मेरी बात. Even in your team, even in your group, मैंने 2 बार राय दी. किसी ने मानी तो है नहीं मुझे. करें अपने आप करें. जो इनको करना है करें. This is not emotional detachment. This is indifference. This is getting withdrawn. Emotional detachment means I will share my opinion. But if you don't accept my opinion, I don't get hurt or feel rejected. I will continue to share it every time because it's my belongingness for my organization. It's my belongingness for people. But I will not feel hurt and rejected or if it is not accepted because I shared it for sharing, not with a desire that it should be accepted. So that is where we will shift towards well-being.
Well, thank you. Thank you. They were extremely deep thoughts put in so easily and in such simple words. Thank you so much, Sister Shivani, for addressing the questions, thoughts, and ideas of IOCNs and urging each one of us to take out some time and reflect upon the thoughts that we carry with us every day, and also telling us that, you know, to transform, the power lies within us. So thank you so much. And it was indeed a wonderful session. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the program. I thank our special guests, Sister Shivani, Chairman, Indian Oil, functional directors who joined us today, dignitaries, senior officials, and IOCNs for being a part of this series of Vyakyan. Thank you, good day, and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So much.